I'm John Bishop, and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Okay, so our all-time worst Premier League 11s. Have you got them to hand, gents?
Yes.
You ready? Please, I want you to play along at home for this. It's going to be open to mass debate, but we are tabling our three answers for what we think are the worst sides that combined the Premier League has ever churned up. Now, we're going to do this in a slightly different way to how we've done these things in the past. We're going to go around position by position.
Okay. Can we start with formation then, because you did ask us to pick a formation first.
No problemo. I've gone for the bog standard 4-4-2. Chris?
I think the 3-5-2 is the worst formation the Premier League seen.
Yes, shit, I'd actually considered it from that perspective. Dad, what formation have you gone with?
3-5-2.
Slow start for Mr. Major.
Damn, I'm clearly, but I'm taking the last sort of 10 years of the Premier League, and I think 4-4-2 is dead and it's been overrated, and therefore any team that plays 4-4-2 in the last sort of 10 years has pretty much been Fulham, and they've been shit. 4-4-2 variations, 4-4-1.
Considering you're coming up with a reason here because you've dropped the bollock, you sounded quite convincing, but we all know you've just dropped the bollock.
Chris, as you well know, anything can be convincing if you say it with conviction.
So any of my members of staff.
Okay, so goalkeepers there, Dad, we'll start with you.
Taibbi.
Chris?
Taibbi.
Massimo Taibbi, Full House. If anyone's got an alternate suggestion to Massimo Taibbi.
I have to say that I never realised there were so many bad players who played in the Premiership when I started to look at it, and I know there are thousands of them I couldn't even remember or have even looked at, but he just stood out.
I can't even say it without laughing.
Yeah, you could literally pick
we could have John crying again in this round.
You could pretty much pick any goalkeeper between Peter Schmeichel and Edwin van der Sar at Man United for probably the worst goalkeeper thing. And I do apologise, we've got Tavia on the camera who and we've mentioned this before, is a Man United fan, so this does fill me with a little bit more, added a little percentage of joy to my night. I do apologise, mate. I've only got a few more Man United players. Just before we move on to defenders, actually, there was a point you made, Chris, when we were talking about this last week, was that when you think about the worst players ever to play the game, it's very hard not to just do Liverpool players, isn't it?
I actually came up with an entire worst Liverpool 11 just on the back of it. I was going to give that, and I thought, you know what? I like Taibbi because he was shit for Man United. I actually really like him.
I look back fondly on the players who were shit for other teams like that.
The ones for us,
I was going to pick Barthez at one point, but I thought, no, even Taibbi beats him.
Yeah.
Easy.
Can I ask you then, you've gone for 3-5-2, is that wing backs or extra midfielders?
I'm playing wing backs because I hate one of them so much. I want him to be running them down.
Okay then, we're going to start. Chris, you've not got full back, so we'll skip it out on this one. Then we'll go through. Who's your left wing back?
Julian Dix.
Okay, I've actually got Julian Dix as my left back. Interesting.
He was very close to my side.
Okay, we'll move on to centre halves in a second. Who have you got right wing back?
Philip Degan.
Philip Degan. Oh, shout! What a shout! I've gone for Frank Sinclair. Although I think predominantly a centre back, he could play there, and I just had to get the own goal scoring machine into my team anyway. And literally, if Taibbi, if I was struggling for goal, Sinclair would have gone in goal to make sure that he was in my team. Okay, who's your centre backs then, Chris?
I could have done all three of them.
Let's go for your three centre backs.
Ramon Vega from Spurs.
Okay.
God awful. Torben Picnic from us.
Torben Picnic.
Tighter shambles in it, of course.
Shiter shambles even.
Yeah, I mean that was sent shivers down my spine. Vega picking the brambles.
You would wake up in a cold sweat if that was you were the goalkeeper with that defence in front of you, like Massimo Taibbi wouldn't have lasted. Like, go on, Dad. Who's your centre back?
I've gone for a Newcastle block.
Okay.
Marcelino, Bramble, and Boomsong.
Oh yes.
Three players that play together.
They can play in any of those three positions.
It doesn't matter. Does not matter one jot. Equally shit in any of the positions. Jesus. And so much money. I mean, I don't know how much they spent on Bramble, but Marcelino and Boomsong were both like pegged to be big important players for them as well.
As someone pointed out, and something I read when I was looking this stuff up, Graham Souness has got a lot to answer for. I mean, he was the one who bought that guy for Southampton.
Let's yeah, we'll call yes, Graham Souness basically. Well, he used to sign players via the medium videotape, didn't he? Like, you mean, someone would go, yeah, here's a tape of someone, Graham, what do you think? Yeah, looks good. Right, there you go, check signed, no problem, move on. Which is
your centre-backs.
my centre-backs. I've gone for the aforementioned, and it had to be Titus Bramble, aka Shitus Shambles, why? Because I remember playing for Newcastle, and he came to Anfield, and Stephen Taylor got injured, and he went off, and literally their own fans, but the audible groan that came from the Newcastle fans when Bramble came on, and they actually started singing Bramble for England when he came on. Like, it was absolutely,
you know, you're bad then.
Absolutely astonishing. The any Geordies you're watching, you will know he's the worst centre back ever. He's left Sunderland. As he leaves Sunderland at the end of the season, he was training with West Ham. God help them if he signed for them. Like, and Winston Bogart.
Chelsea.
Yeah, the most overpaid, underused, overrated centre-half ever to play in the Premier League.
Fair play, that's a good shout.
I mean, there's a quote apparently that he basically...
He just came for the money.
Well, he came for the money. They realised he was shit. He knew that he wasn't good enough for the money. He got a fat check. They said, do you want to move on? And he basically said, nah, fuck off, I'm not getting this money anywhere else. He sat out his contract because he was on that much, he was on that great a wedge. So absolutely fantastic, I think, entry there from me, but I do say so myself. You haven't got wingers then, have you, presumably, because you've gone for midfield? Oh, because you will have wingers because you've got 5 in midfield. Who's your left? Is your right winger? Okay, I've gone for Antonio Nunes, right winger. Got him. What? Dave's not having it. What?
No, he was useful.
He scored in the League Cup final ball.
Cosmo was worse for us.
Yeah, I think, you know what, because the man is the only player I've ever known. He was a lawyer as well, wasn't he? And he probably should have stuck to the law. You know what I mean? There's nobody, like, he's talking about a wealth of options. No, I mean, the fact that he was even considered worthy of being part of the make weight in the Michael Owen deal makes it all the worse.
It's just Real Madrid laughing at us again.
Belgium. No, I mean, if you care to argue with Nunes, I'll take that argument all day. But he's who I've gone with. Chris, have you got a left wing?
Alexis Smertin from Chelsea.
Interesting.
Big money buy. Much the same as Bogard. Absolute pile of wank.
Yeah. Was he another sort of Russian luxury purchase, like? Shit.
Yeah, absolutely shit. Best thing about him was his haircut.
I've gone for Thomas Brolin. Again, forward, but I've opted to shunt him out wide for this one because, again, just having that his rotund figure in that side.
He even played in the Premier League.
Counterbalance Julian Dix on the other side.
That whole side, you couldn't have them on the same side of the coach because they're probably it'd fuck you tracking up, like, you know what I mean.
I always expected Julian Dix to come on the pitch eating pie and chips.
Yeah, you'd rather he come on the pitch with like a gravy stain down the front of his shirt. Yeah, Thomas Brolin, because again, massively, he was such a talent when he it was the European Championships when he was for Sweden, when he was just absolutely
He scored against England, and people thought that was special.
Yeah.
So they've been proved wrong.
Yeah. Equally, like people when Joe Cole scored against Sweden, people thought he was special. Like, there was something about that fixture.
Special needs.
The best thing about Thomas Brolin was the fact that he ended up at Palace, and he ended up as part of the dream managerial team of him and Attilio Lombardo managing the club. They had Adidas making the kits, so they looked like, and they basically had Bayern Munich's home kit that season. They looked boss. They were in the Premier League. They had 2 of the former great international players managing them, and they just went straight down. Absolutely astonishing, amazing. And Crystal Palace fans, I'm actually looking forward to seeing if they can actually stay up this time around. Right, Dad, do you want to give us your midfield today?
Yeah, as I said, there's 3 people who can play anywhere across the midfield badly. Bruno Cheroux.
Okay, yeah, not the next to Dan.
Not the next to Dan, and it's the weight of expectation I think we've weighed on him heavily. Carlton Palmer.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wednesday was he?
Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday, yeah, and everywhere. Again, managed Stockport.
He did manage Stockport as well.
And the laziest man who ever played football for Liverpool, and probably for other people too, was Paul Stewart.
Paul Stewart, he was the cult hero at every club he went to for like the first 5 games he played for them, and then everyone realised that he was lazy and shit, basically. And I've actually recounted this on the show before, but going back to Palace, we've got obviously friends of the family of Palace fans, and we loaned them out to, I don't know if we loaned him directly to them, he ended up at Crystal Palace, I'm hazy on that, but he'd only just gone, I think he scored on his debut or something like that, and we'd said to them like, you've got Paul Stewart, he's shit, and they're like, no, Paul Stewart is amazing, and it's like, yeah, we'll see you again in 6 months' time, let us know what you think, and then when we saw them again in 6 months' time, we'll think of Paul Stewart, oh my god, he was.
He's so lazy, he was supposed to go to Brighton, but he ended up at Palace because he couldn't go any further.
Excellent. Okay, Chris, midfield.
Midfield 3.
Yeah.
Jean-Michel Ferry.
Yeah, okay. Spy the camp.
Eric Djemba-Djemba.
Yeah.
And in a free role, Ali Deer.
Okay, excellent.
Because where does he play really?
It doesn't, he's not good enough to play anywhere, like, yeah. I like that.
That's why I didn't put him in, because I thought...
Well, that's it. Jean-Michel Ferry as well. I mean, we signed him, and obviously all the rumours were that he was a spy in the camp, so who they could weed out who was for him, against him, and all that kind of bollocks. The fact that he played 1 game, and it was that end of season, it was like what was the name of the cup? It was like the Premier League...
All-Star Cup.
Something or other. I think we played Sunderland at the end of the season, and he played in that game. It was like, fucking hell, there he is! He's just some greasy-haired, balding goal that no one had seen for 12 months.
Like his butler.
I think literally he probably looked like he was a mechanic or something. You know what I mean? He didn't look like he belonged on a football pitch. Okay, anyway, my midfield 2. Eric Djemba-Djemba, of course. Alan Smith of Leeds United, Newcastle and Man United fame, because he was a decent centre forward, and then for some reason Fergie converted him to a centre mid, and he was fucking dreadful. And then basically everyone forgot that he could play up front after then. So we went from being a decent, reasonable scoring Premier League centre forward to being a like lower league centre mid.
Terrier like centre mid.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He was absolutely
That's
dreadful.
what you get for upsetting Fergie.
Yeah, God. So again, let us know your thoughts on any of those midfield choices. Right, we're going to come to the most important, the people who are going to fail to grab the goals. Dad, who are your centre forwards?
Well, the first one I don't have to say anything about him, Thomas Brolin.
Yeah, of course, well covered by now. Yeah.
And the other one, Javinha.
Ooh, very recent. It's amazing how much. I think he's just secured to move away, but how much Arsenal fans genuinely hate Javinha. And I mean, I don't know whether it's. I don't want to mock the afflict or anything like, but his head was a very strange shape. It was light bulb shaped, like, you know. That just it was like that.
I asked an Arsenal supporter what he thought about the possibility that they might get Suarez, and he said, "We'll take him begrudgingly as long as you take Javinha."
No. Yeah, we'd actually take a cut in the transfer fee to not have him, I think, if that was the case.
Do you think he closes curtains at night? He just goes to sleep.
Yeah, if he's on like a long coach journey during the day. Outstanding. I always felt that he kind of like, have you ever seen someone do that thing where they put a Johnny over the top of their head and inflate it? That's sort of what the top of his head looked like. I'm so sorry. Okay, Chris, who you got up front?
Sean Dundee.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
And Bebe from Man United.
Bebe?
What's that about? How much did he sign him for?
Yeah, the man had never owned a pair of football boots when Man United signed him. He was like that kid in the Hurricanes.
He's still owning him, you know. He's still
he's been on loan, like.
Fucking brilliant. It cracks me up.
But all the rumours were, wasn't it, that he played in like the Homeless World Cup, and that's not true, but he was apparently approached to actually play, and he was just some kid they basically picked up off the streets.
Brilliant. Fergie took a leaf out of Souness's book on
that was Fergie's Souness moment there. I'm having that, like, and Sean Dundee, yeah. I remember there was the point of like saying like, why isn't Sean Dundee playing? Why isn't he getting a chance? And the answer was because he was garbage. Clearly, like, you know, he was another one of those players. He was. I mean, for our younger viewers, Saidi now, you know, and you can't fathom why he's not getting a game. It's probably because he in training, he doesn't know how to tie his bootlaces and he carried a cow's ass with a banjo or whatever, like, or, yeah, anyway, okay, my two choices, the aforementioned Ali Dyer, and if you don't know the story of Ali Dyer, this is the man who basically phoned up Southampton when Graham Souness was in charge.
It wasn't him, it was...
Oh no, sorry, he got someone to phone up, it might have been him, phoned up Graham Souness and claimed to be George Weah and say that Ali Dyer was his cousin or was his nephew.
I think he was supposedly George Weah's cousin who phoned him up and said that he's a top player.
And Graham Souness said, that's good enough for me.
Get him in
Couldn't get in the Premier League, get in my team. He came on the pitch, lasted a few minutes and was promptly subbed off.
I can't believe you never even look at him in training before he put him on the pitch. He put him on, it was like, he subbed him off, didn't he?
Yeah,
he
maybe they just think like, maybe he just does it on the night.
Well, Souness might be one of these managers who doesn't go down to the training pitch anymore, you know, like...
He just watches it on telly.
Yeah, McElroy's one of those. He's never bothered to go down to the training.
And I presume everything's fine. You know what I mean?
He's gone on Friday and said, "This is the team."
Yeah.
I'm back to the pub.
Yeah, and it's, I think that's the only way you can see it happening. Like, and my final choice to round us off is Stefan Givash.
Ooh, Newcastle.
I mean, again, Newcastle United have got just a string of just
Did he score a
big
couple against
money.
us?
He scored his one and only goal for Newcastle against us in the game where we annihilated them 4-1, 5-1 was it? On your 25th wedding anniversary, no less like. When Michael Owen did that celebration after scoring. He scored a worldie, but no. So yes, Stefan Givash, big money, did fuck all. And therefore he's leading.
And you wonder, having looked at those, why Newcastle have been so awful for all this length of time.
Yeah.
I wonder why we've not won the league as well.
Yeah,
in fairness.
In fairness, like, I think the thing is that
No,
we've counterbalanced
those the players you mentioned who were Liverpool players, very few of them played many games.
Yeah.
But some of
For that
those
reason.
people played
Yeah,
hundreds
that's
of
true,
games.
Yeah. Anyway, let us know what your all-time worst Premier League 11 is. And what I also want to know is, who do you think out of those teams there is the worst Premier League 11 that we've put up for you? Let us know in the comments section. Anyway, we're going to wrap up there. If you're watching on the subscriber show, thank you very much for subscribing. We're going to be taking a week's break while we prepare for the new season, basically because it's going to be just all hell's going to break loose when it starts. We've got a load of new shows lined up for you. Hopefully the website actually will be undergoing some changes, so it'll all be a lot sexier and a lot easier to access, and we're going to be integrating a few more different features and what have you, so the website should be a lot more of an interesting experience for you as well.
You should be able to comment as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
you should be able to comment on the videos on the website, which is something I know you're desperate to do. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So we'll take a week break, but we'll be back with our Premier League preview. We're going to look back, of course, on the rest of the pre-season. We're going to look forward to a brand new season, not just from Liverpool, but from the Premier League perspective as well. We're going to have 3 subscriber shows for you a week. Yes, 3. We're going to have Wednesday, Thursdays and Fridays. So it should be good. Please, thank you very much for subscribing. Please do encourage any of your friends to subscribe. And if you're thinking of walking away, don't. Stay and enjoy yourself. Not in the way that people were enjoying themselves apparently with Coutinho's goal against.
It was a wank fest and a half.
It was Coutinho wank fest. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the show for this season and in pre-season, and we'll see you on the flip side for 2013-2014. Ta.